Welcome to the Fit and Field podcast, your go-to source for all things health and nutrition. Here we explore topics and simplify ideas that help you maximize your training, your nutrition, and optimize your health. I'm your host, Nikki Fit, a functional nutrition coach, a certified fitness expert, and a nationally ranked physique competitor. And I have helped hundreds of men and women just like yourself balance their hormones, find freedom with food, and truly create the physique of their dreams. Join us as we cover a wide range of topics such as the latest research in fat loss and training protocols, healing the body through functional nutrition and gut health, and providing you with actionable strategies to help you achieve your fitness and nutrition goals. So sit back and relax and get ready to expand your mind, challenge your assumptions, and discover something new. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fit and Fueled podcast. What's up, guys? Nikki Fit here, and welcome back to yet another episode of the Fit and Field podcast. I'm so glad you guys are tuning in today, because today we're going to talk about something that I think plagues most humans in the world that we live in today, and that is going to be our time. We're going to be talking about time in the sense of the struggles that we face when it comes to being healthy, and in particular, being able to fit a training program into our already busy schedules. We're going to be discussing just how to successfully incorporate an exercise routine, and I'll be sharing some proven tips and strategies that I've been using with my own clients over the past few years with wild success. We're also going to go over how to create a simple yet effective strength training program that you can do when you're short on time and can be done with very minimal equipment. And then finally, we're going to wrap this discussion up today with something incredibly simple that you may or may not have heard of before. And this is something that you can do on a daily basis to accelerate fat loss, is good for overall health, and really doesn't take any extra time. It just takes creating a few new habits. So if you're ready, let's dive in. In my health consulting business, I get the opportunity to talk with people from all walks of life about their health, their fitness, their weight loss goals, and whether their goal is to lose weight, gain muscle, stick to a diet plan, improve cardiovascular health, or simply just to maintain their current fitness level. They all have one common enemy, and that enemy is time. For most of us, the number one challenge in the quest to stay in shape or lose weight is not actually exercising itself, but being able to actually fit an exercise program into our already hectic schedules. So how do you do it? How do you balance the demands of your family, your career, important errands, relationships, organizational responsibilities, and working out? Well, I have found that there are 4 things that you can do that will help you fit a consistent workout plan into your life. One thing I will say before we get started and we dive into these 4 topics is what we're going to discuss is actually very simple to do. Now, notice that I said it's simple, it's not easy. And even though they are not always easy, if you can take action on these items, you will quickly build new habits, find motivation, and start finally getting traction towards your goals. Okay, so the first action item is probably the most important, and that is commit to a specific schedule and book an appointment with yourself. When you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Now, how many times have we heard this in life? And it just falls on deaf ears. I think we're all guilty of that to some degree. We tell ourselves that we'll work out tomorrow, but then tomorrow comes and another appointment or another call gets booked and our good intentions get thrown out the window. My advice is don't try to haphazardly fit your workouts into your schedule without any rhyme or reason. Instead, set yourself up for success by committing to a specific schedule and booking an appointment with yourself. Now, this is not just jotting down in your calendar that you're going to work out on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday each week. You need to sit down and take some time and get specific on how you will make this happen. Now, an example of this would be, I'm going to work out first thing in the morning at 6 a.m. I'm going to work out for 45 minutes, and I am going to do these 4 exercises that I've selected. They're going to be 15 reps each, and I'm going to do 3 sets. Or I plan to run 3 laps around my neighborhood, and that should take me about 45 minutes. Now, in order to make this the most time efficient as possible, I need you to lay out your work clothes. I need you to lay out your workout clothes the night before and have your food, your laptop ready to go so you can grab it and walk out the door as soon as you are done with your exercise and you are showered. Maybe you even need to pack kids' lunches the night before. It's really whatever you can do to get ahead of the game so you have all the time in the morning that you need to get your workout in and get to wherever you need to be. So Now you know what you're going to do and what needs to be done to make this happen. Now it's time to book the appointment with yourself. In this case, I would open up your calendar and schedule your workout and also account for the time it will take for you to get set up to train, the time you'll need to get showered and head out the door. The other big thing to do here is schedule a reminder the night before to lay out your clothes, to pack the kids' lunches, anything you need to do. Pre-planning here is the key to success. And I'm going to just add this into that pre-planning everything when it comes to health and nutrition is the key to success. I think one of the biggest faults that people make with nutrition is not being prepared and not planning ahead. It just takes a little bit of forward thinking to think about what events you have coming up, what you need to get at the grocery store, what kind of food you need to bring with you for lunch, and so on and so forth. So we're going to look at another example. So let's say that you work from home and you're planning to work out around 11 a.m. after your weekly 10 a.m. call. And in this case, I would sit down the night before or even Sunday night and plan out where your workout's going to be done in your home, what your program is, what exactly you're planning to do. Do you have all your equipment ready to go? And once you do that, think about what do you need to do after you get done training to be showered, eat, and back in front of your computer. So once again, the big thing here is once you kind of figure all that out, it's blocking off enough time in your calendar to get it done. It's not just the 45 minutes, an hour you need to work out. It's do you need to shower? Do you need to eat? Or, this particular example, I'm talking about working out at home. But if you go to the gym, take into consideration, I got to drive to the gym. Or maybe, you work out in the morning, you drive to the gym, there's no traffic, but when you leave, there's going to be traffic. So plan your life, plan your workout so you give yourself plenty of time and you are not going to be rushed. Now, this may seem like overkill, and it's definitely not rocket science. But when my clients do this time and time again, it proves to be very successful and very effective. And eventually, my friends, it will become a habit, and it'll be something that you automatically do that takes very little mental energy, and it takes no effort to achieve. And once it becomes ingrained in your daily routine, it becomes part of your flow. And this is really the goal when you're trying to create a new habit. You want to do something so routinely that it just becomes a part of who you are and what you do. And then once that happens and it's ingrained in your schedule, it's ingrained in what you do, then it opens up more mental capacity to add on a new habit. Really when I work with clients, I don't like to give them more than 1 to 2 habits to work on at one time. I have found over the years that when clients try to change everything at once, they get frustrated, they fail. And my recommendation to everyone out there listening is if you're starting a new program, you're trying to eat healthy, and maybe you identify there's 4 or 5 things that you really need to work on, you really need to tweak, I highly recommend just picking 1 or 2, working on those, nail them, and then once they are ingrained in you, then you can move on to a new habit. The big takeaway here is to make an appointment with yourself, schedule it, and stick to it. Now, number two is going to be to utilize the weekend. Now, in order for your training program to be effective, you're going to want to strength train at least 3 to 4 days per week. And one trick to help you pull this off is to become a weekend warrior. One of the benefits to this course of action is that your schedule is going to be more flexible and under your control, and your time is not going to be as limited. The same rule still applies. You schedule your workout, you know what exercises you're doing, what day of the program you're on, you're going to lay out your clothes, and you're going to book an appointment with yourself. The weekends are also a really great time to do 2-a-days. And this could be something like you strength train in the morning, and then in the afternoon, you go for a walk, or even going for a 30-minute walk after dinner. So like I said, guys, if you are crunched for time during the week, you could get 2 to 3 workouts in on the weekend. So utilize the weekend, become a weekend warrior. Number 3 on our list is going to be keeping your workouts as a high priority. Taking care of your health is and should be sacred to you. You will not only feel better, you'll have more energy, more mental focus, more mental clarity, and you'll be able to show up as the best version of yourself for your work and for your family. One of the biggest mistakes that many people make who have scheduled a workout program into their schedule is they allow other appointments to bump their schedule or bump their workout off their schedule way too easily. I know that things occasionally will come up and you're going to have to reschedule your workout, but I encourage you to be vigilant in making sure that only the most important emergencies are allowed to temporarily take you off plan. And in the event that one of those important emergencies does happen and you can't make your workout, reschedule it immediately and make it up the next day if possible. If your own health, fitness, and efforts to lose weight are not a priority to you, they certainly will not be to anyone else. So be jealous of your training time and do everything in your power to not let pushy bosses, nagging kids, or deadlines get in your way. Once again, that comes back to scheduling, right? Being organized with our time. Now, this will take some time to really dial this in, but once you do and you set the standard, more people in your life will respect your time and understand the importance of your training to you. And then last but not least is tell others about your goals. I love this one, guys. I absolutely do. Do not go this alone. Let the important people in your life know what you are up to. Your spouse, your love interest, your parents, your children, your coworkers, your close friends will often help support you if you make them aware of what you are doing and you ask them for support. Open and robust dialogue, guys. Talk to people, communicate. One of the things I see that happens all the time with my clients is as soon as they start letting people know their intentions and asking for help, their closest friends and loved ones usually jump on board and start making changes in their own life. And I call this the trickle-down effect. And I see this all the time with my clients. Let's say that Sally comes to me because she wants to lose a few pounds and we start working together for a few months and her energy improves and her sleep improves and her husband says, "What are you doing? You look great. You have all this vibrant energy. What's going on?" And, he wants to know, he wants to join her in on this journey. So once again, the trickle down effect is real and it happens all the time. And this is also a really cool opportunity for you to get to influence others. And in return, it creates another layer of support for you. So this becomes a total win-win, guys. So do not be afraid to ask for help, tell people what you're doing. And that's just with so many other things in life. Communication is key. So it does sometimes take a village to achieve our goals, especially if we have family, we have kids, we have children's sporting events we need to go to. So once again, talk to your loved ones. Now, a few other tips while I'm on this subject. I want you to leverage these relationships if possible and delegate some of your normal responsibilities to free up time for yourself for your workouts. This is huge. So who can help you do some small tasks in your life so it gives you another 15, 20, 30 minutes that you can drive to the gym or go downstairs to the basement, hop on the Peloton, whatever it might be. So leverage the relationships in your life. Also, creating a buddy system. If you have a friend or a family or a coworker who are on their own healthy way of life journey, ask them to meet you to take a class. Ask them to meet you to hit the gym or go for a walk. And then lastly, guys, I know not everyone has a reliable support system that they can lean on or might not want to lean on. And if this is the case, enroll the help of a local coach, a virtual coach, or maybe even find a boot camp group at your local park or gym. There's also all sorts of online communities and programs where you can post, share, and ask questions. Just do a simple Facebook search. Or like I said, go online, find a virtual coach, someone like myself, and, get support from an outside source. Now, before we move on in talking about how to effectively put a really simple program together, let's recap these 4 things that you can do, should do to fit your workouts more consistently into your schedule. So number 1 was to commit to a specific schedule and book an appointment with yourself. I cannot stress this enough. Time management is key when you are busy, so schedule your workouts. Number 2 was to utilize the weekends, become a weekend warrior. You usually have more flexibility on the weekend. So, don't take a rest day on Sunday. Rock it out Saturday and Sunday. Get 2 workouts in, get 3 workouts in, whatever that might be. Number 3 was to keep your workouts as a high priority. Your workouts are sacred because your health is sacred. You cannot be the best version of you if you are not healthy. So get your workouts in, prioritize them, and do your best to not let other appointments or calls bump them off your schedule. And guys, and if they do, just reschedule it for the next day, but don't wait. As soon as that change happens on your schedule, go in and say, okay, when can I fit in my next workout? Or when can I fit in this workout that I just missed? And then number 4 was to tell your goals to other people. Let the loved ones in your life know what you're doing, I guarantee you are going to have people that want to jump on the bandwagon with you. So those are my 4 strategies on how you can fit a consistent training program into your already busy schedule. So next, we're going to talk about putting together a very simple yet effective training program for when you're short on time. Now, when it comes to designing a strength training program, there's multiple ways to go about designing an effective program, and there's also lots of things to take into consideration. Things to consider are the specific goals of the individual. Are they trying to lose weight? Are they training for an endurance race? Is their goal hypertrophy, which means growing muscle tissue? A person's training history, and that means how long have they been training, right? I meet people sometimes that have never been in the gym. So they have a very little to none training history, where someone like myself, my training history would consist of over 17 years of being in the gym. So big difference on exercise selection and things like that. But for the sake of today's discussion, I'm just going to try to keep it pretty simple, pretty basic. And these are going to be it's going to be a total body workout that you can do over and over throughout the week. And I'm just going to give you a little bit of a format to follow and also some more tips. So here we go. So in the world of strength training, there are 7 fundamental movement patterns that pretty much all exercises boil down to. And you're going to want to include some, if not all, of these in your total body training program. Now, these movement patterns are a horizontal push, think things like push-ups and chest press, a horizontal pull, think bent over rows, single arm rows, a vertical push, think shoulder press, a vertical pull, think pull up, lat pull down. Now, those are going to be a little bit harder to do at home. And for the sake of this discussion today, we're going to be talking about more of an at-home style workout. So we're going to leave that one out for now. There is a squat. Think of things like a dumbbell squat, different variations of lunges, a goblet squat. And there's a hinge movement. Think things like glute bridge, kettlebell swing, Romanian deadlifts, all of those hinging from the waist, knees are just slightly bent, you're not actually squatting down. And then last but not least is rotational movement. Think of things such as Russian twist, plank twist, wood choppers, and there's also anti-rotational movements that focus on keeping the core from rotating, and those would be things like bird dogs and side planks. For this workout, we're going to pick a push, a pull, an overhead press, a squat, a hinge, and a rotational movement. And I'm going to give you these exercises right now, the names of them right now. So if you want to pause this really quick and grab a piece of paper, you can. And here they go. So exercise number 1 is going to be a push-up. Number 2, a bent over row. Number 3, a shoulder press. Number 4, a goblet squat. Number 5, a glute bridge. And number 6, a seated Russian twist. So if you need to, write those down, please do. You can always, rewind this a little bit and go back through. Now, you're going to be doing these exercises that I just listed in a circuit, which means you will do all the exercises back to back without any rest until you get to the end of the round. And now I'm going to say rep ranges can really vary anywhere between 10 to 15 reps. And we're going to just depend that upon your fitness level and also the weight of your equipment. Let's say if you have very light weights, you may need to do more reps than just 10. So that's also something that you would just need to play with. Now, each week or every other week, you're going to want to try to increase something, increase a variable. So this is just a very watered down, modified version of progressive overload. So what I would say is every week or every other week, try to increase either your reps or your sets. So example of that would be, let's say in the first week or 2, you did 10 reps of everything and you did 3 sets. So in week 3 and 4, you could do 12 reps of everything, 3 to 4 sets, or you could even keep it at 10 and increase the number of sets you do. So lots of different ways to manipulate the variables there. But for the sake, once again, of being at home, I would say every week or 2, just increase the number of reps. After you do these movement patterns for roughly 4 to 6 weeks, and then either adding reps or sets each week, you're going to pick out 6 new moves and go through the same process again. If that seems too daunting and you are short on time and you just don't feel comfortable designing your own program, I want to invite you to check out my Nikki Fit app. There's going to be a link in the show notes below. And what it is a monthly training program. And each month you get 6 new in-home workouts and 6 in gym workouts. You also get a cardio schedule, recipe books, and there's also a community in there of other like-minded individuals who are all on their own healthy way of life journey. So once again, check it out. It's down in the show notes below. You can also communicate with me via the app as well. So super cool. Check it out. Now, the last part of any good training program should include some sort of cardiovascular training, like taking a brisk walk, jogging, cycling, swimming, whatever it might be. And when it comes to cardio, what I tell my clients is to pick something you enjoy. Because if you pick something that you do not enjoy, it makes it very hard to be consistent. For example, I am not a swimmer. It is not something I enjoy doing. So I do not use that on a weekly basis to get my cardiovascular work in. Now, I do love running. I absolutely love taking cycling classes. So for me, I'm going to lean towards one of those. I'm either going to take a cycle class, ride my mountain bike when it's nice out, or just go for a jog. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to run. I know that not everybody can run. I know not everybody has access to a cycle bike. So one of the best ways to get started, and this is also something I do weekly, is taking a brisk walk. And it could be 30 minutes, something simple. Doesn't have to be anything crazy. And the other big thing to focus on a daily basis is your step goal. Now, most of us have Fitbits or, Apple Watches. If you don't have an Apple Watch or a Fitbit, there's actually an app on your phone that is a step tracker that you can use. And your goal is to get somewhere between 8 and 10,000 steps a day. I know you probably hear the word 10,000 all the time from most people. That's roughly about 5 miles. But once again, it's baby steps. Every time I coach people, it's baby steps. Remember earlier I was talking about one habit at a time. So what I would say is if you're new to tracking your steps, first just becoming aware of what you're getting on a daily basis, and then going for like 8, maybe even 6,000 steps a day, but quickly trying to ramp up to that 10, but start small, make progress, nail the goal, figure out what you need to do to get more steps in each day. Now, the daily step goal brings me to the final part of our conversation, and I want to let you in on a little known piece of your metabolism that can greatly aid in overall fat loss and that most people either have never heard of before or didn't even realize it existed. Now, this theory is called NEAT. NEAT, which stands for non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Thermogenesis is defined as the body's way of producing heat, and it does this by burning calories. Now, that is 100% a very simplistic explanation, and the goal of this show is to bring you simplified information that you can implement. So for the following discussion and talking about NEAT, that's all you really need to know is that it's non-exercise activity thermogenesis, and thermogenesis is defined as the body's way of producing heat, and it does this by burning calories. Now, NEAT is crucial for your health as we age because we are not designed to sit as much as we do. And if we can increase our NEAT, and our NEAT is just, once again, our non-exercise activity, it's our walking around, it's cleaning our house, it's doing all these things. If you can increase your NEAT, you have the opportunity to increase your metabolic rate 15 to 30% of your daily calorie expenditure. So this, guys, is a great tool when it comes to keeping body fat levels low or just losing body fat in general, because it creates an additional calorie expenditure each day with little to no effort on your part other than creating some new habits. So let's go back to talking about the step count. So let's say you start tracking your steps and you realize you're only getting 6,000 steps a day. How can you increase your step goal? Maybe it's after lunch, you go for a brisk walk for 15, 20 minutes. Maybe it is walking around the perimeter of Target a couple times before you go shopping. Just being aware of how many steps you're getting in each day is huge, because then you can add in these little bouts of movement throughout the day, and that is going to help you increase your overall calorie burn each day, once again, with very little effort, and will help aid in you losing weight. Other examples could be taking the stairs versus the elevator, clean your house more often, vacuum, sweeping, parking further away from the grocery store when you go shopping. And I said this one, and this is one of my favorites that I tell people all the time. If you're going to go to the grocery store, if you're going to go to Target, wherever it is, take a couple laps around the perimeter of the store before you begin shopping. It doesn't take that long, and you'd be surprised how many steps you can actually get in. Playing with the kids, walking around while on work calls. I read a book a few years ago, and I don't remember the title of the book, but the gentleman in the preface said, I wrote this entire book while walking on my treadmill. And I was just like, wow, I wonder how many steps he got in, right? I'm sure it was probably one of those under desk treadmills. So he wasn't walking very fast. But could you imagine you were able to walk around while you were on the computer or at work? Now I know that's kind of hard. I have a really hard time working on my iPad and walking on the treadmill. I've tried. I'm not very good at it, but I could absolutely take a call by walking on the treadmill. So once again, finding ways to get more neat, more just movement, activity is key to overall health and also losing weight. So I hope you see that even though we lead extremely busy lives, we can still structure and sneak in simple ways to get more daily movement and achieve our fitness goals. So here's a recap on everything we discussed today. Now, when it comes to sticking to your workouts, number one was to commit to a specific schedule and book an appointment with yourself. Remember to get detailed on what you need to make that happen, what you need to lay out to be ready to just get up and go. Number two was to utilize the weekend. An effective training program needs to be done 3 to 4 days a week. So you can utilize some of the downtime on your weekend to get in a couple extra workouts, aka become a weekend warrior. Number three, keep your workouts as high priority. Your health should be sacred to you. You can't show up as the best version of yourself if you are unhealthy. So make them a high priority. Really fight to not let anything bump your workouts off your schedule. And then number four is to tell others about your goals. Get their support. Let them know what you're doing. And like I said, you will be surprised that you have people come out of the woodwork in your life that want to jump on this bandwagon with you. We also talked about designing a training program for yourself, and I discussed some of the fundamental movement patterns. I also suggested a few different exercises that you would do in a circuit, and I don't think I said this earlier, but the circuit could be done somewhere between 2 and 4 rounds, and reps are going to be somewhere between 10 and 15 reps of each exercise. And once again, that really depends on you, your fitness level. And if none of these movements, I'm gonna tell you the exercises again, and if they don't work for your body, you can absolutely change it out. I don't know your specific situation or your goals. I'm just trying to give you a really easy template and just throwing it out there. So this is something you could start doing immediately. You go to the store, go to a Play It Again, sports type store, get a pair of dumbbells, and you be ready to rock. And here are the exercises that I told you earlier in the podcast. And those are push-ups, bent over rows, shoulder press, goblet squat, a glute bridge, and a seated Russian twist. Now, your goal would be to do this circuit 3 to 4 times a week, and every week or 2, either add reps or sets, and at the end of 4 to 6 weeks, change the exercises. Also, too, guys, remember, check out the link in the show notes below to the Nikki Fit app. I plan it all out for you. If you're overwhelmed and you're busy, check it out. There's videos. It really goes into detail about everything you need to do, so check that out. You can also message me via the app, which is very cool. So if you have questions, you can always talk to me there. Now, no matter who you are, there will always be times that you just aren't able to keep up with your workouts due to outside demands. And I would say, don't be too tough on yourself and give yourself grace when this happens. Anybody that knows me or has ever worked with me, they know that that's one of my big words. It's 2 of them, actually. It's consistency and then also grace. So do your best to regroup and keep moving forward, even if you get thrown off schedule. If your workout gets disrupted, you can't make it, immediately schedule it for later in the day or even the next week. And I'm going to leave you with one of my all-time favorite quotes, and that applies to really all aspects of health and fitness. And that is, it's better to be consistently good than occasionally perfect. Aiming for perfection is a surefire way to set yourself up for failure and disappointment. There's no such thing as perfection. So instead, focus on being consistent as the number one goal, as it is the number one key to success when it comes to anything health, nutrition, fitness related. You guys, it's the little things that we do on a daily basis, week in and week out, that make the biggest impact. Control your controllables. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of the Fit and Fueled podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to stay up to date on all the newly released episodes, and make sure that you share this episode with friends, family, loved ones, anyone who you think can benefit from our discussion today. Sending lots of love and positive vibes your way. Until next time, my friends, I'll catch you on the flip side.